Hey, it's that time again. It's the Musicians Talk Show, episode 38. I'm pulling up the ad copy here now. Today's podcast is brought to you by Bandzoogle. Bandzoogle makes it easy to build a stunning website for your music in minutes. Choose from hundreds of mobile-friendly themes, then customize your design and content in just a few clicks from their super easy-to-use visual editor. Even their drummer could do it, right? All the features you need for a professional website are already built right in, including tools to sell your music and merch commission-free. Commission-free. They don't even take a penny from you. Right on your website. Mailing list tools to grow your fan list and send newsletters, integrations to all your socials, and live support from their musician-friendly team. The whole company is made by musicians. It's not like some of their competitors where they're not going to understand some of the music stuff you're going through. These guys get it, and they're there to help you. Bandzoogle plans start at just $8.29 a month and include your own free custom domain name, so everything is in one place. That's incredibly rare. Go to bandzoogle.com to try it free for 30 days. Be sure to use our promo code TMTS. We got you guys 15% off your first year. That's promo code TMTS. Matt?
Yes.
Who's our special guest co-host today?
Special guest Rasan Lacey today.
What's
you guys remember Rasan?
What's up?
Rasan is back on the show, my friends.
I'm back.
Welcome. Good to have you. You're only here because daylight savings time, though. So
Because daylight savings time, and it's really funny. I watched the clock go back an hour, stayed up until actual 3 a.m., and then woke up at actual 7 a.m., and I've felt horrible all day.
I'm there with you, bro.
My body has not adjusted to this very well at all, and I'm pretty sure I sound sick.
You sound a little sick.
Yeah.
Matt sounds a little tired.
We'll see. We'll see by tomorrow what happens.
And I'm on top of the world, as always. But Rasan, welcome back. And it's funny that up until 5 minutes ago, we were not planning on having you. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the show.
It worked out.
He walked in the door because we have band practice right after this. And I was like, oh, what's up? You're on the podcast now. I was like, Matt was like, daylight savings time.
Yep.
And they had a good bonding moment. It was cool to watch.
Yeah, so I took that extra hour instead of to sleep. I took it to party. One more extra hour.
Yep.
Everybody partied till the second 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
That was
So what awesome results came of that, Matt?
I met a lot of cool people.
No, you lost your fucking phone.
I lost my fucking phone though. That was at the very end. I got a lift home.
He comes in here all cranky that he lost his phone.
Oh,
and I was like, well, you lost your phone.
Distraught.
He was like, do you think she'll bring it to me? I was like, no, you have to go get it.
How do you even go get it?
No, she will bring it to you. It's $15 charge.
Oh.
Yeah, they nail you with. Well, I mean, it's.
Okay, let's back up. He left it in the lift. So the lift driver, actually, this is funny. The lift driver tried to get in contact with him through the Musicians Talk Show contact form on the website.
Amazing.
I don't know how she found it because my phone's locked.
I got the email to the official email we have, and it was a contact form saying like, "Hey, I was Matt's Lift driver." Like,
like I'm here to.
So I said that to Matt, which makes sense because his iPad is on his thing.
In there, so that was nice of her.
Yeah.
Let's check that out.
Kind of a backwards promotion. No, she didn't do that. But anyway, all that to say, Matt left it in the lift, and it's going to be at the Lift Hub. But do you know where that is? It's probably not far from you because Charlotte's a big city.
I hope not.
It's probably
we're next to the bus stop, so
totally not though.
Yeah,
probably like in Lake Wiley or something.
Fucking Concord,
just something like that.
Yeah, that would be. Well, Concord's almost
20 minutes.
Concord is like 30 minutes.
It's like 45
from right here.
I'm south, but
yeah.
Concord's a big place.
This is some good Charlotte geography. Go to the Concord Mills Mall though; it's a nice mall.
If you want to lose 10 pounds while you walk around it,
I love that
it's
mall.
Like
dude.
a mile around.
That mall's awesome. Okay, back to music shit.
Yeah.
We have some cool guests coming up.
Yes, we do.
Real soon.
Some really cool stuff.
We can't say too much about it.
Yeah, but we're taking them in now. We're taking suggestions from fans.
Yes, we have several fans have sent us suggestions of guests they want, and we have honored those suggestions. Whether that ends up being an actual interview depends on a lot more than I can control. But
we're waiting on the green light, but we are putting it out there that we have fans that want to hear from them. So.
Yeah, fans have written us and said, like, hey, I listened to X, Y, and Z, and I loved it. Could you get blank on? And I'm like, hell yeah, thank you. Because I sometimes sit around and I'm like, well, who do I ask now? It's like, of course, there's a billion musicians to ask. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I've asked 10, so that's all of them, right? Yeah. So it's like,
keep
sometimes you run out of ideas. So
give us ideas.
I am intrigued.
So send us ideas. Yeah, Rasan knows all of our guests coming up. Who are they, Rasan?
Thundercat.
No, he doesn't. He's not privy to that information.
Gene Simmons.
Can't tell him that.
And
we can't even tell Rasan.
Axl Rose.
Yeah, we secured the one Axl Rose interview in ever.
Yep.
Okay, so the unsigned artist segment. We've gotten it's less of a segment, I guess, but we've gotten some good submissions.
Yeah.
We're gonna be releasing those out Probably New Year.
Yeah, you want to start next year.
We got December.
We'll
we have some cool ideas
for the rest
December.
of the year, and we'll pick the ones that we think really deserve to be out.
Well, and it's worth saying, I think that's that submission link. It's very easy. TheMusiciansTalkShow.com/apply. There's a contact form. Fill it out. Done. And you are in the queue, and we will. There's not a 100% chance you'll be featured. We do have to kind of curate it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know, 8 or 9 times out of 10, you're fine.
Yeah.
So
make sure you include like artwork and information on how to get everything, and as much information on your band as possible, so that way we can best promote you. You know, the more information you include in your submission, the better we'll be able to, you know, present your music. So
Yep. So we'll, you know, if we approve it,
right,
which is totally subjective,
right, you know,
but we'll play at the end of the show. We're gonna take a full song of yours with your permission and play it out at the end of the show.
Yep.
So it's a good way to get your music in front of a different audience.
That's right.
So that link will be live forever, probably. TheMusiciansTalkShow.com/apply.
Yeah. Go do that.
Very easy link. And we've posted about it on Instagram, and we'll continue to post about it. So what's the really cool thing we have going on in December that we teased and worked out a little bit last time?
Yeah. So
but now it's fully worked out.
It's fully worked out, and it's pretty much ready to roll out. But in December 1, we're going to start doing the solo of the year. So all those solos of the weeks that we did, we're going to now take all of them, put them head to head on Instagram stories, and let you guys vote on what is going to be the solo of the year.
Yeah, so we have
today will be the last solo of the week that we do. That
right, this will be this. There's 16 of them. Today is the 16th one. We'll get into that in a little while.
Yep.
And so that's a perfect Sweet 16 bracket.
Yep.
Which actually ended up working out purely by coincidence. Yep. We had no idea we were going to do this.
But but it worked out, and I think we're going to do it next year too, right? We'll
do it again, but maybe with like 32 or something.
64.
Right.
64.
It's not enough. Make it like March Madness.
Right. We have to do a couple a week.
2 a week.
So we have already, and this is still, I guess, kind of inside information, but we have already picked, unless you're on our Discord channel,
right,
which you should do, and we'll talk about that more in a second, but we have decided which solos are going to be fighting which solos for the first 16, which I guess 8 battles.
Yeah, we made some nice
so 16 solos, 8 battles. So we kind of paired them by... roughly by genre, so metal versus metal, you know, pop versus pop, blues versus blues. It wasn't perfect, but we pretty much did that. Would you say that?
UFC, they say styles make fights.
There you go.
So we put people with similar styles or something at least similar that you could compare,
or similar time periods,
right, something like that.
Like one of them, they're not super similar in style, but they are both like classic rock bands.
One of them are Slash. So
one of them both.
Because we picked Slash for 2 of them. So
we had 2
Same
Slash
band
ones,
or different bands.
Different bands. One was Guns N' Roses and one was Velvet Revolver, which was last episode.
So it'll be cool to put those 2 head to head and see what people think.
But we didn't want 2 Slashes to go on forever.
Definitely,
so we put Slash versus Slash at the very top.
Slash is killing everybody. He's knocking people off the list left and right.
As you guys know, we love Slash, so we didn't want to let that get in the way of a fair fight.
Totally.
So December 1st is a Thursday. We're going to roll that out. It'll be on Instagram. So Instagram.com/Musicians Talk Show.
Yeah, and then it'll go on through the whole month. We'll get it all figured out. And by the end of the year, we'll unveil.
So what we're going to do, what we've decided to do is we're going to post the actual clips of the solos as 2 separate videos as a post. So you guys will have a place to listen to them really quickly if you don't want to go listen to them on your own. The voting will take place in the stories.
Yep.
And we'll set up a highlight just for the solo of the year that you guys can click on and vote. I guess even after the voting is done, right?
We'll leave them up there.
We'll remove them every like time it's time to remove them, right?
When we switch to the next, probably like when we get through the first 8.
Right. And then we'll remove them and replace them. Okay, so that'll work. Again, we're figuring this out on air. But so the first week will be the toughest. You guys have to vote 8 times. And then it'll get
There'll be a lot of voting in the initial week.
Rasan sees the official graphic that Matt made that looks awesome.
Yeah, so it'll be on Instagram stories. You guys will be able to vote. We'll have a lot of voting in the initial week.
Yeah, so you have to vote 8 times in the initial week.
Right.
And then 4, and then 2, and then 1.
Right.
Interesting choices in song. For
both Matt sees or you see the actual official.
I see the actual.
That's awesome.
This only one blurb. I don't have that much of an inside look, but I'm already intrigued.
Well, and that's partially
this is going to be cool.
The interesting solos that we chose is partially because we didn't know we were doing this at the end of it. Like,
so this
really
we
putting on like the best solos that like of that person.
We kind of just picked stuff we liked.
Like
stuff
that we really liked.
The first Slash one I picked was the Garden,
right? Which is not a big
solo. It's just one of my personal favorites that I thought was
great.
cool.
It is great.
You know? So
but it is like
the second one was Slither. That's kind of a famous one.
Right. If you're gonna pick like an epic Slash solo, maybe you pick like November Rain or Strange,
Sweet Child,
or something
like
that's super popular. That obvious legs, you know.
So,
But then that would definitely win just for the sheer popularity.
So some of these are a little deeper, and this actually works out, I think, because you'll have to kind of listen to them. You know,
round one's matchup or something without saying who it is. It's just an interesting one for sure.
I don't even know who this one is.
Huh.
This is quality audio for our listeners.
Sorry,
This is okay.
but
I'm not going to say
I'm
anything.
excited.
I
I'm
only
excited,
know
though that people are gonna like see these and hopefully dig
Okay.
it. And
I know
vote
both
along.
players, but I only know one of the songs. So I don't,
Yeah, the
it could
one
be a
you-
toss up there.
The one you
Yeah.
don't know is
Well, and that's
kind
why
of-
we're gonna
kind
put
of
them
a
in the
deep
post
cut.
with the actual music too.
that actually is an interesting matchup. Now that I think
It's a
about it,
very
that kind of
interesting
feels very
matchup.
different.
Well,
you
that's
know?
a good one though. I think it's still fun. I mean,
I love
they're both singers and guitar players, right?
Okay. All right, we're dropping hints.
Yeah. So
If you guys, what if someone wrote in and guessed it and was like, "Oh, it's this
'Cause they
versus
know
this,"
all
you're
the
like,
solos.
"What?"
Merch
They know all the
giveaway.
songs.
That's a good point. You do technically, if you're a super fan, you do know all of the solo
right.
weeks.
So
This is a good way to end the year. And December's my birth month,
Yeah,
and
nice,
Christmas,
nice.
and
So your birthday,
New Year's. So it's the
Christmas.
best time of year.
Oh yeah. So here's the thing. The posts are gonna have the music, like you said. I'm just gonna reiterate. The posts are gonna have the music, so that way you can go on our page, listen to the songs that or the solos that we're debating or
Right.
head to head right now. So then
And you
go
can
into
also
stories
just go
and
look them up on your own. But we're providing you an easy, quick way to listen
Exactly.
to them real quick.
But I don't want to hear any excuses that I didn't hear that solo, I didn't know that
Right,
solo,
or I didn't
so
know that
go
one.
to-
Well, although, also, if you know you like Solo X
Right.
and you've never heard Solo Y, like just go for
gonna
X. Like, who
win.
cares? Like
Yeah,
it's up.
right.
It's
That's fine
whatever
too,
you want.
right.
Like
Totally.
It's all opinion.
That's
Right.
right.
There's-
But we hope
exactly.
everybody checks everything out.
you don't
That's
have
cool.
to. You don't have to vote like a
There's no right or
Grammy
wrong.
winner. You know what? The
Yeah.
voting member of the Grammy Academy or whatever. Like you don't have to vote like that. Like you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person. Just go with your gut.
Sure.
Vote for what you like.
Sure.
I have been listening to, and speaking of Instagram stories,
Okay.
I have been listening to a podcast lately, the DIY Musicians Podcast. It's by CD Baby.
Yep.
If you don't know CD Baby, you should. If you're an independent musician.
Not an ad.
Yeah, this is not an ad. I just started listening to it, and I'm only a couple episodes in, and I just picked two random ones, and one of them was about Instagram and Instagram stories.
Okay.
The one I'm listening to now is about Pandora and their artist marketing platform, which is really cool. But it's a really good podcast, and I wanted to take a second to say that and maybe talk to you guys about any other
Yeah, let's hear
podcasts that you've heard or what's the word? Platforms that we can point our audience to think about other things and expand their horizons. This one's cool because it's really like business, marketing, like all that kind of side of music, which us artists need help with.
Definitely. That's
We
not
all suck at it.
that's not the part of the music we got into for.
Nope.
Right.
Not at all.
So, and I, over the past 5 to 10 years, have grown to love that side of things.
Yeah.
And it's probably some of the most fun. Like I love it just as much as I love making music. So it's really fun to me
Yeah. I mean,
to think about creative ways and to monetize your music and stuff like that. So, and that's kind of what started this podcast.
Yeah,
Me loving
content,
that kind of that side of the things. So this is a really good way if you're kind of lost, like, oh, I love, writing music in my basement, but I don't know how to get it to people. Like, just start finding podcasts like that one and hopefully like ours,
Yeah, so
which
that-
is kind of more on the musician side of things, but this one's more on the business side of things. And it's really cool. It's made for the DIY independent musician. What do you guys think about any other things you've heard related to that?
Yeah. That's definitely a worthy thing to listen to. Any podcast that's willing to help you with your business side of music. And if you just listen to it, if you can find an hour a day.
Oh, yeah.
Or how long is the podcast actually?
They're all,
About
normal
an hour.
podcast length, hour and a half.
Yeah. So
whatever.
Especially if you have a long commute.
If you have
it's a
commutes,
great
yeah.
way-
Well, see, I
great way
listen
get
to
all that
them.
down.
I listen to them at the gym, go on the way to the gym. Like,
Right.
I listen to them like if I'm playing a video game or something.
Yeah.
I've been playing a couple video games lately that I've already played. I was just like trophy hunting.
Yeah.
So I would turn the volume down pretty low and just crank podcasts. And
Yeah.
I would play for like 2-3 hours in a row, and I would get through a lot of podcasts in that time.
Yeah.
And I play podcasts like when I'm vacuuming the room, like all kinds. Like, dude, I'm
Sure.
always listening to podcasts because it's like. It's
You can
not. It's
slap
not like
earbuds
reading.
in
Like you
anywhere.
don't have to divert your eyes to something. But if you
Yeah.
can put in some headphones and just crank through some content, like you'd be surprised how fast you can learn new
Yeah.
ideas and absorb new information.
So now I was
and learn
telling
new
podcasters
things.
how to listen to their podcasts.
Yeah.
But no, definitely. Like, there's so
Most
many
people
times
think
you
like,
can-
oh,
you
I'll
can
listen to it
find
at work, or
Right,
like if I
right.
work in a cubicle, or I'll listen to it in the car. Like I'm here to tell you can listen to it. all
Anytime
the
there's
time.
dead
Listen
air
to
in
it.
any aspect of your life,
Yeah.
I always
well,
fill it with
listen,
something.
just fill it with something.
Block out the silence.
Don't be too alone with your own thoughts.
Yeah.
It's not good for you.
No.
For me, I've actually been into a lot of different books. Just kind of, getting more educated on the business end of things. One of the books that I just finished actually was Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. Not Crush It, which came out in like 08 or 09.
Yeah, that was
but
like
Crushing It
That's the
is
one I read.
it's kind of a companion or more like a he calls it the daughter book. Okay. Where he goes through like the same kind of how to build basically a personal brand through whatever you do on all sorts of platforms, like everything from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to Snapchat, all this stuff. And then one thing that he adds that wasn't in the previous book, was case studies. So he asked a bunch of people that are crushing it to, give their own like case study, submit it to Gary, and have it published. And so there's like a story for every single platform, no matter how random it is. And it's like crazy things like
somebody sells baseball cards or something. Like I've seen him talk about stuff like that.
Somebody's selling baseball cards, or somebody doing like a daily podcast just because nobody else is doing it. And he just blows up.
John Lee Dumas has been doing daily podcasts since like 2006.
That's
he literally has like 1,500 episodes.
That's who it was.
7 days a week for like 15 years or something.
He had the owner of Wampler Pedals
nice.
submit his story.
That's cool.
And it was really interesting. He basically found his way to get to the musicians market by not talking to them like engineers.
Right.
So his whole marketing scheme was just like putting it in musician terms where it's not so highly technical.
Right.
And just kind of won people over
makes
the
sense.
fact that he was not a total
Yeah,
douche.
it's really hard to
That
communicate
makes
with people thinking about it from their perspective, right?
Oh,
Because you know what you know, you're in your head, and you're going to talk like that.
Right.
But you have to get out of that and think about what someone else might be thinking who
Yeah.
doesn't know what a G minor 7 chord is.
Oh
you know?
yeah,
Like,
sure. But anyway, it's a great resource just to like, if you feel stuck as far as like, I'm assuming like, a lot of the listeners are, fellow content creators, whether they're musicians or artists in any way, and looking for different creative ways to organically, not dumping a whole bunch of money into ads, but organically like reach a bigger audience. It really just comes down to personal branding, making yourself likable, and having people find you to form your tribe. That's really
That's
what it
1,000
comes
true
down to.
fans.
That's it.
1,000 true fans. So anyway, that one's really cool.
That's cool.
You
audiobook it or you read it?
Yeah, I have a Scribd account, so it's like the poor man's Audible.
Nice.
Not an ad.
Right.
Say not an ad.
The FCC may be listening.
I play Gibson, not an ad.
Not an ad.
What? No, I didn't think that was an ad. You just told me what you played.
You never know. I don't want Scribd knocking on my door.
Yeah.
And, like,
Well, they
showing up in
have
black.
to pay us, right? So that's fine.
Well,
Just give us our money.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah.
but
We'll bleep it out. It'll be. I have a account. Like,
what did he say?
what did I want to know?
What did he say?
That Musicians Talk Show used to be really good, and then they
then
started every brand they ever.
Every brand name.
Yeah, so the Musicians Talk Show used to be good, but now they sneak ads into their just normal normal talking. What is that? So that's a way you can have pre-roll ads, which is what we do with the Bandzoogle one. It's at the top. You can have post-roll ads, which are at the end. Rogan's podcast does both. You can have mid-roll ads, which are in the middle, where you're talking and you say, all right, let's take a break.
That way, yeah.
That's what D'Elia does with his podcast. Actually, he has pre-post and mid. Then you can have, this is a sneaky one that no one likes, and I don't know why it's even a thing. And I don't know the word for it, but basically it's an ad that you work in naturally, and you basically sneak it in, like without fully disclosing it's an ad. I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but like, for example, we could be talking about Scribd, and you could be like, yeah, man, Scribd's amazing. I do blah, 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 blah. And then we just move on without saying like, this podcast was brought to you by Scribd. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, so it almost sounds organic,
kind of a
but it
sneaky
sounds like we're not getting paid, but we are getting paid.
Right.
Like that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. But those people that
doesn't sit very well with a lot of people.
Oh yeah, because it's
sneaky. It's a little sneaky.
hard to really make it not.
Yeah,
awkward.
you want it to be genuine.
Yeah.
Like I would not. I'd like to think I wouldn't,
Nah.
and now that I said this, I won't be able to take an ad. Take an ad from someone that I don't use and support. Like we love Bandzoogle because Bandzoogle hosts the musicianstalkshow.com. It hosts the LAMaybe.com, and it hosts DallasDeWhite.com.
Yeah.
All three of them are through that service. So, and I actually just yesterday or 2 days ago moved DallasDeWhite.com over to Bandzoogle because I was just tired of WordPress.
Oh.
So, I mean, all three websites that I do a ton of work on with Bandzoogle. So we love, this is not an ad.
No.
We already did that.
They didn't pay for this
It's
one.
funny. I'm just trying to say that
We
it's
believe
a
in it.
genuine
We
ad.
actually do
It's
believe
not
in it,
it's
right.
not us taking money.
Absolutely.
we just love them, and we love Dave Cool. He was on the show, and he's awesome.
Anyway, books.
Books. Ari Herstand.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying that right.
We're
Hurston.
going to talk about that book now.
Here's the best word. The title is How to Make It in the New Music Business, and new is the most important word in that because I've read a ton of books on how to make it in the music business. Quotes.
It's signed.
Donald Passman actually has one. It's really good.
Yeah,
I read one of
it
the earlier. It's dense. He's a lawyer, so it's dense.
Yeah.
It's tough to get through, and it's good. But this one is How to Make It in the New Business, and Ari is a musician.
Yep.
And he's a singer-songwriter, and he's an indie artist, and he knows that world. So it's written from that perspective. So one of the things that I love is he's not saying like, well, you get a manager and then you get a label and then blah, blah, blah. No. He's literally saying like, you don't need a label. Don't do a label. Do this. Here's 10 people that did this and exactly how it works. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, I like the inclusion of the case studies in that too.
Yeah.
Like,
he'll say, Chance the Rapper won a Grammy, and a lot of artists I didn't know, but this person did, this, and made $20,000 in a month. Like, things that you can understand and get behind in very simple terms.
Yeah, and this book was published in 2014, I believe. So it's
15, I
15
think.
maybe.
Yeah, it's relatively recent.
It's recent. So it's
I'm reading it now
of this new scheme of music that we.
I'm reading it now in 2018, and he's referencing things that I feel like are very modern, like Instagram stories.
Definitely.
He's referencing email platforms that are kind of new. Like if you read a book from like 2005, it'll be like, they won't even mention Facebook, and you're like, what?
I'm pretty sure Bandzoogel's mentioned in there, and then other
Bandzoogle and Squarespace,
like all that stuff is
with
mentioned in there.
The EPK, they talk about all sorts of hosting sites.
Yep.
So
this is a must read.
Yeah.
In fact, Rasan and I decided it's required reading for our band, and I feel like any band should make it required reading.
Every musician that I've
You're
talked
welcome, Ari,
to,
not an ad.
It's
I have been like, I'm threatening to start a book club.
Yeah,
this is the best.
When I read it,
this is
I
the best book
actually
I've read.
I get
Almost.
caught on it. I get caught up in it, and I'm like ready to read more. Like I just don't want to put it down.
Same, dude.
It's really good. It's like really.
I'll be like, all right, I'm just gonna read a couple pages here, and then okay, well, 30 pages later, like I can't
makes
stop.
it entertaining.
Like, what's
man.
next?
Yeah,
he writes it real.
It's entertaining, but it's also like pure value.
Yeah.
Like every sentence is like, okay, I can use that. Okay, I can use that, and then halfway through, I'm like, all right, this is too much. I need to I'm going to read this like 3 times.
I know, dude. That's exactly what I said. And I said, I'm going back.
First time I'm going to read it.
Notes.
The second time I'm going to take notes. Exactly.
I'm going to probably read it every 6 months or so just to stay like up on my stuff. And
I hope he does a revised version, 5 years down the line.
Like, because there's going to be a lot of new things like the MMA that just passed.
Yeah.
The mixed martial, no.
The music, the Modernization Act.
Everyone has to fight everyone all the time.
So, pretty much.
That's going to change things.
But in the streaming service world, that's exactly what's going to happen. Where we're going to be able to, us artists, are going to be able to secure more than, possibly more than a cent per play.
Nice.
on different streaming sites, and basically like guaranteeing that if you're hosted on everything like Spotify or Apple Music, Tidal, and all that you get the money that you deserve.
You're compensated, yeah.
And there's no like loopholes for not paying you.
Yeah.
Even with covers and stuff like that, it's all going to be pretty much.
You know what
I
that's
like the
going to
sound of
mean
that.
though is it's going to be very hard to get on those services.
It's not, because you
Now
can
they're
upload
making it
directly to Spotify now.
Now they're making it
Spotify is
directly.
For now.
leaning in. Yeah, well,
Pandora too, I think.
As soon as they have to start paying
Pandora,
I
billions
think you
instead
can
of
directly
millions,
upload
it's
to
gonna
Pandora
change.
now. I think that's new. I think I just heard
that's
that.
Yeah, that is
Blow the
new.
door
That's
wide
actually in the podcast I'm listening to now.
Okay.
It's not that new. It's been around for like a year or so, but actually a couple
But
years.
it's still, like it's now being able to upload your own music. Pandora used to only
You have to go
record labels.
You have to
and
go in
whatnot,
a kind of a weird way to Pandora in the past. Yep.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good
So
stuff.
that's
going to
change things. I mean, like the more they eliminate the record company, the musician's need for the record company, the more it's going to make being an independent artist easier and fruitful for the
We're at the point now where I don't think definitely an artist doesn't need a record label, but I think artists should probably start not wanting record labels.
I do too. I think so.
What a record label is a bank. And what a bank does is give you loans, and they call them advances in the music industry. And what that means is you have to pay that back.
Right.
So
you mean buy
be
Rolls
careful
Royce?
about that.
Yeah.
You mean buy a house?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. You got to be careful.
You mean do what every SoundCloud rapper does when they get signed?
Yeah, exactly.
No, don't do that. That money's not yours. Anybody listening who may be in talks with labels or anything that will be fronting you money, that money is not yours.
Yeah.
No,
Please do not spend it. Just like a bank.
Yeah.
Please do not spend it on anything but music stuff, or you will regret everything.
Yeah. Well, you got to
been a
You
PSA.
got to recoup it.
This
before
has
you get
been
a
your
dime.
PSA. Nice.
Yeah, I'm scared of going with a label at this point. I mean, I would. It just seems like not the right way to go unless it was very specific circumstances.
Yeah.
Well, and also going smaller too. They treat it less like a bank and more like a distribution service. I know that a lot of the electronic music labels like Alza and Monster Cat, like they do it more like distribution style. So because none of their stuff is physical anyway.
Right.
And they don't fund anybody's tours or anything like that. Like the artists can kind of make that happen on their own.
Yeah, through merch.
And so really it's just pushing, it's more promotion and it's more distribution, and then they take a cut like that.
Yeah.
So they don't front you anything. It's just really like, oh, you can rub elbows with Skrillex, or you can rub elbows with Dylan Francis, and that's, you basically use the clout to pay your bills.
Right. That's crazy.
And then they take the cut.
Man, isn't
and
that
I think,
crazy?
Yeah, that's going to be the model that kind of probably pervades even in the big labels they're going to wise up.
Yeah.
It's going to take them a while, probably a good 4 or 5
move
years.
very slow. Yeah.
But they're going to understand what's going to happen. One thing that I'm a little worried about is that since Spotify is now, basically open source, like you can upload straight to them, and probably Apple's going to follow suit, Tidal's probably going to follow suit. What may happen is that we have these streaming services that will become the labels, and that is a little scary.
It is a little scary. Spotify record company.
Yeah, because of the not so great payouts.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That is interesting, Rasan. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have a lot of power for sure. They're going to host all these artists that you are going to go looking for. So
they can already take your music down if they don't like it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they take the music down from
good point.
From people that don't need to spew hate speech. But,
right.
Yeah.
But it's
once you start giving somebody the power to dictate what goes and what doesn't go, it doesn't matter what they started doing it for. All that matters is they still have the control to do it.
Seems like even though that's true, it seems like there's not one platform that's king. Like I would say maybe two. Apple Music and Spotify seem to be equal.
Well, I would say YouTube.
YouTube as well.
YouTube is the biggest one.
Yeah.
They are the only ones that can actually turn a profit just because they have a splinter. They're just a splinter of a larger corporation like Spotify. Has still not made a profit. So what may, I don't know, like anything could really happen. The MMA could like totally kill Spotify as a business just because they haven't made a profit.
Well, think about like if they have to, they're paying artists, let's say $1 million right now. Of course, that's not the number, but let's say they're paying $1 million to all their artists. Now they have to 10x that. So now they're going to pay, well, let's say 100x that because you said a cent. Now they have to pay $100 million. What are they going to do? They're going to cut 100 times of the artists, and they're going to be like, "Sorry, we can't have you on here anymore."
So it's going to be
we make all of our money through Drake, so you guys are gone. Sorry, Rasan.
It's good. Oh,
right, yeah. So it's like Rasan doesn't pull in the money, so Rasan's out because I'm not going to pay Rasan a penny a song, but when he doesn't do anything for me, you know what I mean?
You get dropped just like a label would.
And honestly, and this might be getting a little too, I don't know where people stand on this, but that's the same way I feel about what would happen if the minimum wage was raised to $15 an hour. It's like, okay, well, I only have this much money to pay to my employees. So if I have to double that, half of you are gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not, I don't have this money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna, like, you're gone.
Similar
like,
principle.
It's like, I'm going to invest that money into building a robot that can do your job and I'm done. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's the same thing is already happening in the mastering too. Like putting a bunch of mastering guys out of work because all
now they have that.
All the
like
EDM
Lander
guys,
and stuff.
Yeah, like
but,
Lander and
the thing is that where a human's touch is needed, a human's touch is not needed to scan your groceries at the grocery store. You can do that by yourself. We've seen that. A human's touch is needed to master an album. That's a very nuanced.
You know that.
It's an art.
I know that.
Right.
Matt knows that.
Right. So there will always be musicians to go to those people.
There will.
There will probably be less opportunity for a brand new mastering engineer to go up and come in. But again, the cream's going to rise to the top. So
that is true.
It all comes back to one thing. You have to be great.
That's
what Steve Martin says. Probably one of the most true quotes ever. Be so good they can't ignore you.
But if the technology
if people are ignoring you, start being better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually,
pretty soon they won't ignore you because you are just too good.
Yeah, eventually you can count on that technology, that Lander technology, though, to get better. And how we talk about the Kemper versus Tubes, like that fine line. What's it worth? You know,
right. Convenience
so if it gets
versus
real close. If it starts, it doesn't have to beat it.
If you are licensing, 30 songs a month, every month, not like a band that puts out like 5 songs a year or 5 songs every 3 months or something. Like then you would. That service makes a lot of sense because I'm not going to go to a top dollar mastering engineer to put out my licensing music.
That's what they specialize in. That's what they are trying to do. People in electronic music who are putting out singles all the time.
What it does is Lander's great and others like it. I don't know others.
There
I
are
just
a
know
few
Lander.
others.
We
Yeah.
need to actually describe this, sir.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about
We're
it.
talking about it
Yeah,
like
you
we're
want
experts.
to describe it real quick? I'm not an expert by any means. by the
Well,
way.
yeah, I'm not either. But basically, it's like
I've never
automated
used it.
mastering. Now, what mastering is basically like a polishing off of a final mix, where it's pretty much, a little bit of fine tuning for the EQing, compression, just making sure that there's as little to none clipping as possible, distortion and all that. But the human touch comes from like, changing the tone and
Right.
like, really making it like that polished sound.
Hearing certain things that need to
That's
stand out.
Right. That's radio ready. When people talk about a radio ready track, they're talking about something that's fully mastered,
Right.
not just mixed,
Yeah.
And so on technical things too, like fixing or, letting the mix guy know that there's phasing problems, like letting them know that there's like over compression. It's just that final set of ears that gets your song to the last step.
Yeah.
Now Lander, what they do is they just totally automate it through a very nice analog mastering rig. So it's like just a rack full of like the best compressors, the best EQs, the best just all of it. And you can set it to be like a certain tone or whatever, but it's just like a one size fits all for that tone.
A
Right.
preset or a template or something.
Right, it's
If
like-
you upload your music, it automatically masters it and gives it back to you for a fee.
Right. For
you
a
pick.
fee.
There's a few options, but for the most part, it's like a
Yeah, but it doesn't like, there's no automation, of course.
Right.
There's no like, I don't know. It just
It
doesn't.
won't
like,
tell you
it's
like,
not
hey, there's
musical.
phase issues. Like
It's right. It's gonna
it'll just
it's
say,
gonna,
all right, here we go.
It's gonna make your record loud, whether there are phase issues or not.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
make it, sound like or try to sound like the radio, whether it's actually radio ready on a mix or
And it's
not.
probably a great choice for a lot of people.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
Definitely.
That's something to keep in mind.
Yep.
It's definitely a service that fills a need, and that's what's awesome.
Yep.
You're cranking out music, weekly.
Rappers that just buy beats
Right.
and then rap real quick and then release it, they can do it in like 2 days.
Right.
Like, that's
Exactly.
great for that.
Exactly, and like they're
And it's cheap, so you
it's
can save
very
money.
cheap, like something like $8 a month or
I
something.
thought it was like $40 for like a certain number of. I think they work on like credits. So you like
Oh,
you buy a certain
yeah.
amount of credits and then you can put a certain amount of credits in to get a song master, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of like I think CD Baby maybe, but others like CD Baby. I knew you were gonna say something. Others like that offer Lander as like a part of a package too.
That's right. Yeah.
So you can
And
upload your
like-
mixes and you can just be like, hey, master it, copy it, send it to me. Now I have CDs. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. It's actually really smart on Lander's part that they partnered
Yeah.
with someone like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are some other cool parts of Ari's book that you guys like? How to make it in the new music business.
Oh man, I like just the fact that he goes from like the beginning to
Yeah.
the very end. Like for every, it's there's something to gather for every musician in
Yeah.
any level.
I love that I love when somebody says, hey, if you want to do X, here are the 10 steps you need
Right,
to do.
right.
And he does that for everything.
Yeah, he does
He's like,
every-
hey, want to book a college tour?
Yep.
Here are the 26 things you need to do.
Yep.
And they're like, so like, all right, make this profile. Done. Like, I can do that right now. Like, hey, contact 10 people. Like, done. I can do that right now. Like, these are things you can do without having to be like, hey, if you want to be good, like, practice guitar for 10 years. Like, okay, well, that's going to take 10 years. Like, I have to start practicing. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Right.
in the distance.
And
He
it's-
gives you a lot of stuff you can do right
Yeah,
now.
actionable steps is the
Yeah.
key because like you might get too caught up in the flowery language of a lot of other books, especially
Yeah.
business books where it's more like pumping you up,
Right.
More
Motivation
mindset,
stuff,
more
yeah.
mindset stuff, which is important.
action,
It is.
action.
This is
action.
just like you got to do it and gather the data.
Yep.
Stop doing what's not working. Do more of what is working until
Yeah.
it no longer works.
Yeah. So the LA Maybe, we're about to release something, and this book comes at a good time because I just finished a section where he says 26 things, and it was 26. That's
The
why I used that
rollout,
number a minute
yeah,
ago.
it's like-
26 things you need to do to release your album.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
And it was like,
I
okay,
need
so
to
I
reread that section,
immediately
actually.
wrote all those down, and I was like, we're doing all 26 of these.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No
that's-
question.
so, and he tells you, hey, what do you do 8 months before your release? What do you do 6 months? What do you do
Exactly. I was
3?
gonna
What do you
tell
do
you
2
that-
weeks? What do you
Yeah.
do the day before? What do you do 3 months after?
Yeah.
What do you do? How to
the
keep
specific
yourself.
That's something
timeline
that-
of it all. He
that I've
really
been-
lays it out.
That's something that I've been trying to like preach to my clients too, because I work with a lot of independent artists who like want the music out now, or they want it out yesterday, and I'm
Sure.
like, hang on, let's make a 5-month plan at least,
Right.
okay? While I'm working on this stuff in the background, you need to be doing X, Y, Z, and I basically just regurgitate what Ari tells me to do,
Right.
and it works out for the better. And because they know that I do this, return business,
efficiency and whatnot. You can get people working on something while you're doing something. Like there's ways
it's a team effort.
To maneuver through what you're trying to accomplish.
Exactly. It's very important to take those like I said, actionable steps.
Yeah.
And not getting paralyzed by all the stuff that you have to do. Just start.
There's some great great tips he gives you on what not to do, like on how to get a gig, like from all of it. Like there's so many ways, like people that I now, and after I was listening to it, I was thinking about how many people probably just go about this the complete wrong way.
Absolutely.
And they start emailing people, and they start like they just
and
totally
that's why
don't know how it works.
The person that's going to be booking our band is going, I'm going to make him read that section 30 times until he can quote it to me.
Form relationships. Cold emails rarely work.
Yeah,
form
that's the
relationships,
way to do it, and then it's the most fun way to do it because you're forming friendships at the same time.
Sure.
There's all kinds of great information in that book. So
one networking tip that I've kind of taken to heart as far as like the forming relationship thing goes is to like make it to more events that are full of people just like you.
Yeah,
trying to do the same thing as you.
Going back to that, and actually, I didn't know this until I started listening to that DIY Musicians podcast by CD Baby. They have an annual conference. That I just missed, and it was in Nashville.
Oh,
and then
we should have gone.
The next one we should go to. It's only $99 to go, dude. It's so cheap. You got to get to it, but that's super cheap.
Six-hour drive from us. That's not bad.
Well, the next one's in Austin.
So what kind of things happen at this? I've never heard of this.
It's just a DIY musicians conference. So everything. I mean, I actually don't know, to be honest, but I would speculate that
What do you know about it?
Honestly, nothing. Okay. I know it's by CD Baby, and they have a lot.
It sounds killer. It's gonna be awesome. I'm sure
they have a lot of good resources on CD Baby for independent musicians. So I trust them with this kind of thing. I feel like they do a great job.
Me too.
But they do. I'm sure there's things like speakers.
Right.
There's open mic nights around the town, like blah blah blah.
That sounds cool.
Like a weekend thing. So I was thinking we should go to that. I was going to say it's the LA Maybe, but that's 5 people. So then I was also thinking maybe the Musicians Talk Show should go.
Yeah, when's the next one?
Just the two of us. It's like August, somewhere in the teens in August 2019.
Okay.
So
got some time
almost
to plan that out.
Now. Yeah, it's only $99 to go, dude. That blew my mind. That it was $99. I mean, people will charge $600, $700, $800 for those. It's like a long weekend, basically. It's like Thursday to Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For 5 days, like that's $20 a day.
Yeah, and you got to get hotel and flight.
Yeah,
and all that stuff, but
you book that now, and then it's all taken care of
for sure.
That's great. Yeah.
Anyway, you guys should go to that. It seems like it's a great thing.
Even beyond the conferences,
obviously don't know that much about it, but
even beyond the conferences, like stuff that we do know about is go to shows.
Yeah.
Go to your local venues. Go like meet people, meet all the talented people. Like most of the people that say that there's no talent in their city or there's no scene.
All the time.
Also stay at home and don't understand the importance of actually getting out there and like pounding the pavement. Like I try to leave whatever venue with at least one phone number or Instagram handle.
That is a huge thing. If you just get a network every time you go out, like you're moving.
And it becomes supernatural too, or not supernatural, but it becomes very, very natural.
Pro tip though, never say you're at an event to network. Just don't do that.
Oh,
no,
definitely not.
If someone's like, "Hey, why'd you come to this show?" I'm networking, dude.
What kind of rookies are you hanging out with?
Yeah,
definitely don't tell people you're there to network. I mean, but wherever you go, you should be there to network and just have fun at the same time.
That should always be top of mind.
Right.
I mean, wherever you are, think like, "Hey, what can I do here to
be genuine, but also be present."
Yeah,
know that there are people that are just awesome and talented, and that you can be a part of their journey, and they can be a part of yours. That's really what it's all about. It's like it's not about taking; it's about giving.
Right.
Absolutely. Any other final thoughts on this music business stuff?
I don't know.
It's kind of been the indie music podcast, huh?
Yeah. So it's been good though. I like this chat.
Yeah, I love this. Have you guys seen the Bohemian Rhapsody movie yet?
I've seen the trailers and stuff, and I've read a couple articles.
I've been obsessing over Rami Malek's interviews, though, and it's just so interesting. How
Are you going to go see it?
Oh, yeah, I'm totally going to go see it.
I'm going to go see it at some point. I don't know when.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow.
So I'll say what I've read so far, and I'm not saying this is my opinion at all.
None of us have seen it. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, I've heard he's great. He sings like an amazing, like he's awesome. He's like
Is it actually
he's actually singing it?
I thought so. That's what I heard.
Oh, like in like certain scenes, I assume, like when he's in the studio or something.
I heard he's amazing. Like it's like as far as his singing performances.
Yeah,
but Queen signed off on the movie, so it's their like master recordings that are used.
Is it really that?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well we don't know.
See, all right, so we don't know.
Jury's out on that.
But what I heard,
I have heard.
I thought the rest of the movie wasn't the plot wasn't that great. Like
I did think that Queen officially signed off on this though.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rest of the movie wasn't that great. I did hear there were some factual inaccuracies.
See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like there was, like the actual story itself was flawed, but then the performance.
But also,
was
it's a biopic, right? So does that mean it is purely biographical, or does that mean there's some like entertainment liberties
You have to
taken?
assume that it's like Hollywooded up,
Almost like historical fiction, right?
Sure, right.
A little bit,
right.
Like, have you guys seen? If you watch VH1 Classic, if anyone out there watches VH1 Classic, they'll immediately know what I'm talking about. But that Temptations movie,
I watched it every single time it came out.
I love that
came
movie,
on.
dude. It was so good.
Pretty sure we had it on tape.
Okay, so
Pretty sure
the
we had
first
it on
time I
tape.
saw it all, I always saw bits and pieces of it, but the first time I saw it all the way through, I didn't realize it was 2 parts, 2 hour-and-a-half parts.
Oh yeah, it came.
So
on
I'm
like
sitting here,
3
I'm sitting here watching. So it's like a 3-hour thing, and I'm sitting here watching the movie, and then credits start rolling, and I'm like, that didn't seem like the end. And credits roll for like a long time, and I'm like, I'm just sitting there because I'm not doing
entire
anything.
credits
And
of the
then
movie.
the movie just starts again, and I was like, what? What just happened, dude? What is this like huge ending credit sequence in the middle of the
Have
movie?
you ever been able to sit through all of the Jackson, Michael Jackson story, or not the Michael Jackson story?
I don't know
the
that one. I
Jackson
only
story.
ever saw
So
the
that one's like
Temptations one.
the Ken Burns jazz documentaries of musician biopics, because it goes through every single Jackson kid's life up to like 1995
Wow.
when
That's
it came
crazy.
out. And it's like 5 hours long or something
Whoa.
crazy like that.
But I bring up the Temptations one because I feel like that fits the definition of biopic, right?
yeah,
And that
yeah,
was
totally
definitely like embellished and Hollywooded and
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, it hit the big parts,
There's-
but it was definitely like a movie with
Yeah.
actors that you would watch. It wasn't just like a VH1 behind the music.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. Like the behind the music are documentaries.
Those are just
Those are
documentaries,
like
yeah.
actual.
Those are fun too.
The artists are there. Their interviews. They're like
Right.
you
These
know,
are movies.
primary sources. Movies are just they're movies.
You guys should
right.
watch that Temptations
They're
one. It's really
entertainment.
funny and good.
Value.
They're
They have to
entertainment.
get entertainment value out of them still. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with here, mid-yawn, on the Bohemian Rhapsody front.
Oh yeah.
It's
So
it's a biopic. There's some entertainment value. It's not just so go into that. I mean, I feel like a lot of people that love Queen would go there trying to poke holes. Like, just shut
Yeah.
up and go and watch
Just
and
go
enjoy,
enjoy
it.
it.
Like,
Try and see a good movie.
it
Hopefully
works
they
for
do
me
good.
because I know nothing about Queen and I know barely anything about Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
So
That's I'm just fascinated by him as a singer and as a person.
Sure.
You know, and I don't know. I'm not an expert on anything, so I
Right.
pretty much enjoy it.
Yep.
You know, as long
Yeah.
as they do the story justice, as long as I mean, the fact that they got the casting like spot on is like that restored my faith in all of it.
Yeah.
Like
there's a
Looks
Motley
really good.
Crue one coming out as well,
I
right?
know,
Yeah.
and that's got them fully involved.
And I think
too, so.
there, maybe this is just fan speculation, but I heard there was maybe some Guns N' Roses thing that was going to happen at some point.
yeah, I
that's-
heard about the same thing
That's
too.
I'm sure it'll be
at
40
this
years
point,
in the
I'm
future,
not sure. Yeah.
Chinese democracy too.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to see Bohemian Rhapsody though. If nothing else than just to say I saw it, you know.
Yeah.
I also love going to the theater and seeing movies. I go like once, twice a month.
Yeah. I used to go more, but I don't go as many anymore. I go see movie like biopics for sure, like that kind of stuff. I love that stuff.
It's also one of those things. I always say like I'm gonna go see that movie, and then I end up waiting like 3 months, and I'm like I'll catch it on Netflix. Like,
That was me.
takes too
with
long.
all
and then
the
I
Marvel
don't
movies.
even catch it on Netflix. Like Thor: The Ragnarok. Is that how you say
Watch
it?
that. Watch that. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
It's
I know.
really good.
So it was in theaters, and I was
It's on
like, dude, I'm
Netflix
totally
now?
going to see that. And then literally like 9 months went by, and I was like, oh cool. And then Netflix was like, hey, we have Thor Ragnarok.
Thor
and
now.
I'm like, I still haven't seen it. And like this has been months of this, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like in my list, and like Netflix is like, hey, we know you want to watch this. Like here it is, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna watch that. Like,
Not yet, Netflix.
My thing
Speaking
is,
of-
it's funny. I would rather watch 5 episodes of TV than one movie. Does that make sense?
I'm the
Like,
same.
I don't have the patience. It's funny. It's not patience is the wrong word because I don't have the patience to sit down and watch a
Attention
2.5 hour movie,
span.
but I will absolutely sit down and watch 2.5 hours of like
No,
Parks and
I'm
Rec
the- I'm
or
the same
whatever.
way.
The attention span, TV shows move faster. They set up, finish way faster. It's like a lot
Right.
more set up, finish. Movies,
Yeah.
movies you have to follow and you have to keep in track. You have to like remember characters, like 'cause they're gonna bring them back. They're gonna do
I
it.
always find myself halfway through a movie like pausing it and being like, all right, let's take a break here. Let's go do something. Like
jog around for a minute,
Yeah.
come back.
I need to like get the blood flowing. Like let's go get a sandwich. I don't know. Like
I need
this
to
is too
finalize-
much.
Yeah, totally.
Side note, you guys see Venom?
I have
seen
not, but it
Venom.
looks awesome.
Dude, it's good.
It looks killer.
It's really
Is it good?
It's good.
Everybody says so. Everybody's sitting so strongly in one direction or another.
That's every movie like this though, right?
Yeah.
But
Every movie like this is
But,
gonna have that.
Kind of is the setup of that.
The only thing I'll say that I didn't like, and
Spoiler
this is so off topic, but the only thing I'll say about it that I wish they did a little differently was they spend probably a third of the movie in like the first act, like talking, like it's kind of weird. I don't want to explain it too much, but like they spend too much like setup where I would have loved to see more of Eddie and Venom kind of discovering what all that means.
right.
Right.
And see more of that. because basically it was like a lot of like, oh, here comes the spaceship. Oh, it crashed. Oh, the thing crept out of the back window. Like, oh no. Oh, it's on this person. Now it's on this person. Now it's on this person.
Yeah, we already know this.
Right,
And like 40 minutes go by, and then finally Eddie gets Venom, and you're like, dude, this is 40 minutes. Like, there's only like an hour left. And then the rest of the movie is like
that's why I love
110%.
I love Spider-Man: Homecoming because they didn't waste your time.
I love that movie too.
With an
'Cause we know the
origin
setup.
story. We know it. We already know.
It didn't act like there weren't 6 other Spider-Man movies.
Right.
Like, it was like, hey, you've seen those, let's rock. You know what I mean?
It's just cool.
just
That's
like-
cool for Spider-Man, like true Spider-Man fans.
Spider-Man's
you
our
know?
favorite superhero.
The callback
too.
that they did choose was a really good one. You know, because it called back to the first Avengers movie.
Right.
Right.
And side note, Michael Keaton, 10 out of 10 best Marvel villain. Thanos who?
Yeah, he did do a pretty good job.
He was great. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors. So
The moment, and if you haven't seen it, it's just too late. Go see it. Whatever.
Go
Here's the
see it.
spoiler.
It's on Netflix.
But the
This is the
moment
movie's
where
talk show.
the moment where Spider-Man goes or Peter goes to pick up his date, and the dad opens the door was one of the most twist movie moments. Everyone in the theater was like,
I jumped. I did.
dude,
I
it was
loved that.
it was so well
so
done.
many twists. So
Because
many
I don't
twists
know
and
what
turns in it.
I don't know where they directed me in the first part of that movie, but when that hit, it was 100% surprise.
Oh, yeah.
You just did not see it coming. We're
writing
off
right
topic. Let's bring it back to our
We got a couple more segments to go.
weekly album review. Here we go.
Oh boy.
It's time for an album review.
Alice in Chains, Rainier Fog.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? It's Rainier, not Rainer, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a.
Rainier Fog. It's the new Alice in
I'm
Chains
not a
either way.
Washingtonian.
Yeah.
So far under phenomenal track.
Yeah.
That track has one of the heaviest choruses. It's got the classic Jerry. He'll play like a low note riff, but instead of just playing it, he'll bend all the notes. So it's like like,
Yeah.
and it's this really like slippy, slidey kind of feeling
Yeah.
that's so characteristic of Alice in Chains from 2009 on, which was Black Is Made of Blue, which is Check My Brain, of course, a low bendy riff.
Oh my god.
So all kinds of that kind of stuff. Stone, same way, which
Yeah.
is on the next one. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, which I think was 2014. I was in a Change
believe
tribute,
so,
so my knowledge was good, may not be as good anymore.
Yeah.
But
Can't retain it all forever.
yeah, I have a pretty good memory, but some stuff goes from time to time. So Far Under is definitely my favorite track, but they do take some risks, I think, in this album.
Yeah.
There's is it called Fly? Fly has Matt pulled up the track listing here.
Track list here.
Fly is the one that is kind of, it's got a lot of 3-part harmonies, which is weird because usually Change just says the 2 harmony things,
Right.
and it's always like a 4th or 5th.
Right. That's what that's my one thing about that Chains that I'll say is that like I feel like they really like made that harmonizing the what is it third
He's well,
they made
Lane,
that their thing like that like
Yeah.
really
Oh, yeah.
is their
Yeah.
thing.
Most
It's-
people
and
would
it's great,
harmonize
but
in-
it's like if you don't like that then you're kind of screwed.
yeah,
Like,
most
Because it's dissonant.
Yeah.
It's got
Most
a
singers
built-in
would harmonize in
tension,
thirds
built-in
or sixths.
dissonance.
right.
and they do 4ths and 5ths and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So
Right.
it's kind of some weird
It's
harmonies,
unique.
but it's really cool.
It's unique and it's their sound. You know, they nailed that sound.
They did.
obviously.
Watch if you ever get a minute, watch Rick Beato's not version, but his breakdown of Them Bones.
Yeah, I produced an album with him, right?
Oh, you did?
He did Osara's second album, Rick.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
he's a super knowledgeable guy.
He's an awesome dude. Yeah, we had
He's amazing.
one of my proudest moments was when I was in the studio and he said I was the best guitar player he'd ever worked with.
What?
Oh, that's cool.
This was way before he did his YouTube stuff or anything.
Yeah,
This was we
Back
were
when he
there
was still
over New
actually
Year's 2013 when it turned
Yeah.
14. So and it was 6 degrees that night in Atlanta. And we and then I went back a couple years later and just stopped by his house randomly and we talked for a while. That was fun.
Huh.
Yeah, I love Rick though. This was back when he had his huge beard. I don't know if you remember that. Now
I
he's
remember the
shaved
small
with his
beard.
white hair. No, dude, he had a
I
freaking mountain man
didn't know that
beard.
he had a
He's
mountain man
Sicilian, so he can grow the thickest, blackest beard you've ever seen. It looks fake, dude. It looks
Yeah.
it's the scariest thing because it's so dark black. And dude, yeah, Rick's an awesome guy. He's hilariously like tough in the studio. This is off topic again. We'll come back to the Alice in Chains thing, but I think Seth and I talked about this. Seth's the drummer that'll be a part of the 24-hour EP when we do that.
Mhm.
But he was there too.
Mhm.
He was our drummer for the project, and he was struggling to play with a click because he hadn't really developed that too much at that time. And the three of us are in the other room playing Halo, and I hear Rick through soundproof walls screaming at Seth, "Why can't you play to a fucking click?"
Wow.
Dude, it was so funny.
I
Seth,
would never know that from
Seth got
watching
a,
his YouTube videos.
oh yeah, he's a awesome, like aggressive dude, and I love it, dude. The whole time we were there, we were just busting balls. When we walked in, we were loading in our gear, and they were playing the Colt. And this is hilarious now that I think back on it. But this is what instantly gave us credit with them because they're older dudes that love classic rock, and we're the younger dudes that are playing like metal rock, right? So we don't feel like there's a relationship. At least they didn't think so. Our bass player walks in first, and he goes, "Is this the Colt?" And GL, the engineer, goes, "Yeah," like kind of a little surprised. And Ethan walks out. I come in behind him. Yo, is this the Colt?
Everybody.
He's like, yeah, dude. And then Seth comes in behind me and goes, dude, are you guys listening to the Colt? Dude, all four of us walked in at different times and said, you guys listen to the Colt? And they said from that moment on, they knew like these guys are cool. Like we can hang out with them for a week.
They're not sure. They're not sure what the Colt sounds like, but these guys are pretty cool.
Is this the Colt?
Is this the Colt?
Yeah.
I look back very fondly on those on that like week, 10 days we spent down there.
What would have gotten you more credit is this is the Cult.
Oh,
like,
nice.
Not as a question.
You guys listen to the Colt?
Well, it wasn't one of their like hits,
Right.
but it definitely sounded like the Colt. So
Yeah, they have a sound.
anyway, Fly. It's got a lot of 3-part harmonies, which is weird for Chains because usually only ever Lane sings the lead and Jerry sings the harmony. And then in the newer iteration, Jerry sings a lot of the leads,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will take some harmonies.
Yeah, we posted that story on Instagram.
Will will take some.
Yeah.
Will also sing the lead. He does really well on a lot of the Lane-led songs, like Wood, Man in the Box, that kind of stuff. Like live, Will sing the shit out of that. He kills it. He's a phenomenal choice for them and a really good performer. We saw them live in 2014 at Harrah's in Cherokee. That was an awesome show.
Cool.
That was a really, really good show. But Fly, again, 3-part harmonies, which is weird for them. And there's more than just Fly. There's some other tracks on there.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be the most familiar
So Far
with
Under
this
is the
album.
one that we were humming in the beginning, right? That's a wow,
Yes,
wow, so
that song
far.
is. It takes a long time to get to the chorus.
Yeah.
But it's super heavy and worth
Yeah,
it when
it
you
is.
get
It's
there.
a plotter for sure.
That's a great one. That's my favorite on the
You
track.
familiar with the album at all?
Just that song.
Yeah.
That was one of the. There were 2 lead singles. That was one of them.
Yeah.
The other
it's
one was
been on my list for a while.
The other one was The One You Know. I think that was the other single. It's also pretty good,
That's
but
the
not as
title
good.
track.
Not as good as So Far
Head
Under.
track. Yeah.
I've always overall Jerry Cantrell kind of as just a riff guy is like a very, very close second for me to Tony Iommi.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like sometimes they switch positions,
Good
but
call
he
on
just
that.
like has such a unique voice with his riff writing that nobody else can copy
Yeah.
because it immediately
Yeah.
is like,
It's like, oh, yeah,
And
that's
a
Jerry
hugely
Cantrell.
underrated part of Alice in Chains is Sean Kinney, the drummer.
Oh yeah.
He plays what gives them their heaviness is 100% Sean, and nobody realizes that.
Right, because he
He
plays
doesn't
the right
play
back
busy
beat.
at all. He
Right.
plays these super simple, like slow quarter note beats, and it's like Black Sabbath.
He
like
plays
Bill
like
Ward.
Bill Ward.
It
plays just like Bill Ward.
brings you down, and it's the heaviest possible thing. Like he'll do like a ride, kick, snare beat, but he won't do eighth notes on the ride. So it'll be like boom, gah, boom, gah, with like a ride on
Every
each one, and
hit
he's not
counts.
filling those gaps with the ride, and it's so heavy, dude.
Every
Also,
hit counts.
whoever produces or is in charge of tuning those drums and mixing those drums and mixing those records, dude.
Yeah.
They knock it out of the park with Sean
Every
Kinney's
time.
drums. The
Sampling
past
on that
3
stuff?
albums,
You think there's
phenomenal.
any sampling, or you think they
They
just
probably blend some samples,
Yeah.
maybe, but I don't know.
It's still pretty.
It's
awesome.
hard to tell.
Massive how awesome it sounds.
Yeah, especially one of my favorite tracks from, again, 2009's Black His Way to Blue.
Mm.
I think it's track 7. It's called...
I know which track
totally
you're talking
blanking.
about, and I'm blanking too.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun. Dude, it's so heavy. And a looking in view.
Yeah.
The drum production on that, dude, the very first thing he does is like, when he lands on that snare, you're just like, oh my God. Like, one of the best drum mixes I've ever heard. Let's move on to our final reveal.
Yeah.
The solo of the week.
All right.
Solo of the week.
What is it, Matt?
It is Like a Stone by Tom Morello.
Tom
of
Morello.
Audio Slave.
It's an Audio Slave track. Of course,
Yes.
everyone knows it. It's an
Yeah.
interesting solo. Let's take a quick listen and we'll come back and chat. Hey, what's up, guys? Dallas here. You know what time it is. YouTube won't let us play the solo of the week here. So if you want to check it out, feel free to subscribe to us on iTunes or just search it on your own. Let's get back to the show. Okay, so one thing I noticed right away is whammy pedal.
Yeah,
Whammy.
That's his main
If you don't know the
technique on
whammy
this.
pedal, it's the Digitech whammy pedal. This, and if you don't know what it sounds like, listen to the solo.
It's a pitch shifter.
Also, listen to Searching by Joe Satriani, which is one of the most unique uses of that pedal I've ever heard.
And also a lot of White Stripes.
Yes, White Stripe. Zach Wild was endorsed by them for a while, right when that pedal came
Zach
out.
White, you mean?
No, Zach Wild.
Oh, okay. So
he was
Jack
in
White.
Well,
he
you
was
said
endorsed.
White Stripes, and then you said Zach Wild. I didn't
He
know
was
you meant Zach Wild. Okay.
He was endorsed by Digitech, I guess, but also that pedal specifically.
I didn't know that.
Right when it came out, he was talking about it a lot because I have one.
Okay.
And that's why I bought it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That would have been like
It worked.
That would have literally been like 2006 or 7 or something like
okay,
that.
okay.
Maybe even 5. No, I wasn't playing in 5. But anyway,
So it's a pitch shifter. Play a note.
it's a pitch shifter, and you can
push the
set it
pedal
to
down
do a
and
lot of
goes
different
all the way
stuff.
up
Yeah,
like-
it looks like a wah pedal.
Right.
So he has it set to 1 octave.
Right.
So when you play your note, it goes down, and then you move the pedal up, and it goes down, and it makes that noise. If you go fast, and a couple times in the solo, he goes slow, so he goes like that.
He really
and since
plays
it's
it
sitting on a
nicely.
rocking wah-shaped pedal, you have the expression to be
Finesse.
able to go not on and off.
Yeah, you have control to control the character. of the
One
note,
thing I
everything
will
in
say about
between.
whammy pedals, every single one I've ever owned, I've owned like 3. After a couple uses, it never gets all the way back to 0.
Yeah.
So when you it also has a button to turn it on, and when you turn it on, you pitch shift up just a little bit because you have to stomp it down to get it to 0.
Right.
So when you turn it on, you're like 10, 15, 20 cents sharp because the pedal's not sitting at 0; it's sitting at like 5.
Do you
Let's
happen
say.
to know if there's any like stop that you can adjust on the bottom of it or anything like
I do
that?
not know.
Because I wonder if there's a little bit of adjustment there maybe.
I just know I had to really grind my heel into that pedal to get it to 0 if I had it on while I was playing.
if there's a
And then I would
little-
stomp it.
if
I haven't
there's
used those things forever,
If there's
though.
a little threaded like bolt or something in the heel of that thing underneath the pedal,
You
that
could probably
could be an
adjust it.
adjustment
See,
for
this
a
happened with
heel.
like 3 different ones though.
Okay, maybe.
And they might have that. They may have that to fix it. I was not knowledgeable of that
know,
at the
yeah.
time.
Maybe they've been fixed since then too, because
It's possible. They have a ton
they
of
have a lot
iterations.
of them.
I think
They've
like
They have a lot of them.
Yeah.
we're up to version 4 or so. Like,
It's a lot.
something like that.
So we should.
It's a very specific effect, like a talk box.
Yeah,
like if you use this all the time, like don't. It's too much.
Yeah.
Use it on one thing,
So, right.
and then be done with it.
Right, and Tom Morello uses it a lot.
He's the effects dude,
Yeah.
man. He's always doing interesting stuff with the guitar that's not really like playing the guitar, if
Right,
that makes sense.
right.
I'm not saying he can. Of course he can. But he's always like
Manipulating the
DJing
sound,
with the
right,
pick, like,
right.
like that
right.
shit. It's like, what is that guitar, dude? Like, he's always doing some interesting shit like that,
Yeah.
and coming up with interesting ways
This
to
is
use
a classic
effects.
example of his
This
style.
is a brilliant
This is
solo
radio-
that if you've probably heard a
radio-
bunch of times and
yeah.
you didn't know it was a whammy pedal, you know, because it's used very tastefully.
radio success on this song. I mean, I remember hearing this in the 2000s when this came out. It was like everywhere.
yeah, about
Yeah.
the time.
Oh yeah, this is a big song,
Yeah.
and I have to go back to the Joe Satriani Searching. He does something super unique with it, where with the pedal he's going 2, so he's doing up down up down up down
okay.
up down, and he's playing in 3. So he's going dee da do dee da do dee da do dee da do. And when you combine them, it's this super cool sound, like like it's all over the place. It's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
That sounds
And it's
very
actually kind of hard to play
off-putting.
and do that at the same time because
Right.
it's weird.
Right.
But dude, I'll play it for you after this, and
Yeah.
maybe we should even attach it to this
Yeah, maybe.
part of the thing. But it's a really cool thing. So anyway, I had to mention that. But Like a Stone, our
Yeah.
final solo of the week, a good solo,
Yep.
cool effects,
And that's gonna be a hard one to. I mean, everybody's gonna know that one. That's gonna be definitely. I think
and
that one's gonna make it through
check
those.
Instagram December 1st, Thursday,
Yep.
to see who that's getting pitted up against and vote for your favorites. Any final closing thoughts, my friends?
Just thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, it was good having us on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being early.
This is my
Perfect timing on that.
This is my second time on.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Definitely.
We'll have you on a lot. We're gonna do. We said this earlier, but you weren't privy to the information. We're gonna do like a LA maybe episode prior to the
Definitely.
New
Oh,
Year's show,
cool.
so
Definitely.
we'll all be on it for that.
It'll be like a little just
Hangout.
The same.
It'll be like
thing
band
we
practice
do.
again. Yeah.
Yep, it'll just be like a normal meeting.
Just a normal.
Band practice with microphones in everybody's face.
Pretty
Wait a minute.
much.
We do that already.
Yeah, we do that already.
Okay, well, so it's gonna be band
All right,
practice.
we have to go rehearse. I have to go be a dancing monkey.
I hear you.
So
I'm gonna go get some sleep.
yeah, we'll see. We'll
Find my phone.
We'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you could take a second to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast, it really helps us to be more visible to more musicians.
And don't forget, you can support the show by clicking on the link on our website that'll take you to our Patreon page. There you'll have access to content that is unavailable to non-patrons.
Make sure you follow our socials by going to themusicianstalkshow.com/Facebook/Instagram or /YouTube to stay up to date on all the cool things we have going on here at the show. And lastly, email us with any questions, comments, concerns, or guest ideas at dallas@themusicianstalkshow.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.